Some years ago, Swami Kriyananda appeared in a movie based on Ananda Village outside of Nevada City, California. And the movie was about Ananda Village called Finding Happiness. And in the movie, a journalist comes. It was the type of movie is called a docudrama. So the the loose knit story that uh, it's based on is fictional, but the people, all except for I believe two or maybe three actors, the people that appear in the movie appear as themselves and are residents of Ananda or are connected with Ananda in various ways, even if they don't live there precisely. And in that movie, Swamiji spoke of creating this community, the challenges of doing that. But at the end of the movie, in one of the pivotal scenes, he blesses the journalist, which was a very sweet thing because she herself had grown up with a mother who was very spiritual, very interested in spirituality, and had grown up in a kind of ashram setting, but she had sort of never taken it as her own. She's a Hollywood actress, and but she still had that inclination in herself to some degree. She just had sort of never owned it. By the time that movie was finished filming, she really actually wanted that blessing and asked. It was a little bit of an unscripted moment. Asked if he would bless her, and he did so. In fact, he did so, I believe, like 7 times because they had to shoot it from all these different angles in order to sort of give the shot depth and perspective. But I tell that because just after that, Swamiji goes on to finish the movie by saying, you can start a community also. It's not hard. Buy land in the country with a few friends. Go out there on weekends. Build a little bit, farm a little bit. Have your place in the country is basically what he was saying. And it's a helpful thing to think of because the uh, the hurdle to jump to create a full-blown cooperative community, world brotherhood colony is the way Yogananda phrased it, is quite high. To really do it in a big, big way requires, I would, at this point in time, I would say kind of a special blessing, a special dispensation. The fact that Ananda exists now after 50 odd years is testament to the fact that a blessing went with it. In fact, more than one blessing, many, many, many miracles and many blessings were required to create it and to keep it flourishing. But Swami wrote a book at that time. I'm going to just hold up an ancient copy of it. This is maybe, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's called Cooperative Communities, How to Start Them and Why. And so, of course, and this was written as Ananda was beginning to be formed in the late 60s. And, this book was typeset on a typewriter, and it is a legitimate book, but its production value, as you can see, is a little dated and was very humble. And yet it was a bit of a groundbreaking book in its time. And to this day, it's still rather of a unicorn because there just aren't that many books that talk about how to create a cooperative environment and how to work with people in a living arrangement that is not some sort of cult, or that is not some kind of commune arrangement where everybody sort of throws everything in a pot and divides it up according to need. Those kinds of utopias. Swami one time in a talk surprised all of us. He said, do you all know what the literal definition of utopia is? And everybody sort of thought, well, it's one of these idealistic places. He said, no. Literally, it means nowhere, which is a good way of saying that utopias don't exist on this planet. but down to earth places do. And Swami helped us to understand how to create such a place. But then he went on to give the equally important answer to the question, why to create such a place? And the why is to answer a need in our hearts for peace, a need in our hearts for a little bit of quiet, peace and quiet, just the chance to get away from the noise and commotion of our lives, of our job, even perhaps of our families, if there's a lot of tension and commotion involved in that. We get away to the country, to space, to nature. Recently, I have read of a lovely concept. This phrase was coined, I believe, in Europe, perhaps in Denmark. I'm not sure exactly now. I don't remember exactly, but it's called taking a forest bath. And it just means going out and walking in the forest, but it means also appreciating the forest, appreciating the green and the quiet and the beauty. And having space in the country affords us the opportunity to have that in our lives in a more meaningful and regular way. And so I encourage all of us, if you've never read this book, it's available online. It's available on Amazon or other digital outlets. It's available on crystalclarity.com, I believe. I can't swear to that. I haven't looked it up recently. But it's a wonderful, wonderful book. And even more, I would encourage you, if you feel what I'm saying in your heart, consider, what would it take to buy a little land in the country with a few friends? You know, you can buy more land than you would personally need with several friends and sort of, minimally subdivided, not even formally subdivided, but just sort of, say, well, why don't we do this here and that there, and we'll garden over here. And it's a natural way to think of having space in our lives. And more so, even if you can't buy land, but just to get away into the countryside of a weekend, very, very helpful to create and nurture a sense of peace of mind in our lives. This is so urgently needed in these days, and really, frankly speaking, in all days. Namaste.